Follow the Equestria Brotherhood by Nokawolf. Chapter 2 What We Lost. Small flashes of light blurred into Neo's vision as he tried to open his eyes. Small glares and shadows waved in front of him as he tried to regain consciousness from the day before. Every now and again he would hear a tiny high-pitched beat that kept up with every beat of his heart. There were shadows hovering above him. Although he couldn't tell who exactly they were, he could tell that they were in fact ponies. Neo could faintly hear muffles coming from one of the ponies hovering above him. He tried to speak, but he couldn't get a word out. One of the ponies looked down at him and turned his glance to the pony on the side of Neo. Once again he tried to speak, but it was of no use. He managed to move his head to the left, and all he could see were fuzzy evidences and uneven shapes. He lost the last of his energy to move his head to the right. He could hear and feel his heart beat at a steady pace as he squinted his eyes to improve his vision. It was hard to see, but he could make out a large, long object. He didn't know if it was metal, but it was a light gray color, so he thought it was safe to assume it was made out of metal. The large gray object levitated itself to its side with an orange glow surrounding it. The object stopped moving for a moment. The large boar pony levitating it was looking like a smaller figure. It was a blue fuzzy shape and what looked like a brown mane. Adam? Neo thought to himself as he stared blankly at the pony. Then his eyelids got heavy. He struggled to keep them open, but it was no use. The unicorn levitating the metal object continued to move it towards him. Then, with a muffled click, a sharp, rusty pain flew through his body. Neo jerked a bit at the horrible feeling he just felt. He wanted to yell, but his voice was gone. His drowsiness returned to him in full force. He could no longer hold his eyelids open as he slowly returned to his dark, empty state. All he could see was darkness. It was like the time before he woke up. It was dark. He felt alone in the empty nothingness that stared at him. Now he thought he was dead. This is probably what hell is like. Great! What did I do to deserve this? Then, the small beeping noise returned, only this time it was more clear. His eyes didn't feel as heavy anymore, so he attempted to open them. He slowly opened to look into the world again. And at first, the new lighting burned a moment as he looked back at the world of the living. Everything wasn't fuzzy anymore. He could hear normally again. He could hear more clearly than he did before. His sense was becoming more and more sensitive with every single passing second. He looked down at his chest. He was in a medical apron, lying in a medical bed, with a heart monitor linked up to him. He looked around the room for a moment to see what else was there to see around him. It was already clear to him that he was in a medical office, or the surgery part of the office anyway. Neil was laying on one of the three other medical beds. His bed was slightly tipped upright, so sitting in it was easier than normal. He looked around the black-gray room where the injured ponies came to get thatched up. There was no pony else in the medical beds, and there were certainly no ponies in the room except him. Great, he thought to himself as he sat there blankly looking at the empty room. One of the doors opened, and a green unicorn with a clipboard came into the room. "Oh, you're awake," he said, looking up from his clipboard. Neo gave him a sly smile. "Yeah, I'm awake." The doctor went next to him and turned off the heart monitor. "Well, I'll be glad to hear you're awake. Look at the motor control on your forehead. Looks like it's working out at all," he said as he continued to remove wires and other attachments from Neo's body. What does he mean, my forehoof? He thought to himself as he looked to his left hoof. To him, there was nothing different about his hoof, so he looked at his right one. His eyes shot open as he looked at the fake metal forehoof. "How did this get on here?" he shouted to the doctor. He looked at him oddly for a second before smiling tearfully. "Why, Adam built that for you," he chuckled, taking the last wire from his body. Adam had always been a young protege when it came to fixing or building things. Heck, he could build or fix anything as long as he had a screwdriver in his mouth and a few minutes available to him. Neil lay back in his bed. He did, he said quietly as he put his new hoof in front of his face. The doctor nodded at him with the same smile on his face. He sure did. It took him 4 days to make the darn thing. It really only took one, but it was pretty hard finding all the pieces that needed to be built it. He moved over to one side of the bed to look at the doctor. "I've been out for 4 days?" he said with a little worry in his tone. "Yes, you were. I was just about to remove the heart monitor when all of a sudden I found out you were already awake." Neil looked down as he smiled a bit at the thought of seeing Adam and his mom again. "Where's Adam, anyway?" he said, finally sitting back all the way in his bed. The doctor put a hoof to his chin as he thought about the question.
I think he went home about 1 hour ago. He said something about getting your mother. We told him you should be awake any time now, so I guess he went to get her.
Neil looked down at the doctor with a small grin on his face. So, when will I be able to get out of bed? The doctor puts the monitor aside and moves some more medical equipment around before he answered.
Now, if you want to leave, you just need to make sure you pick up a new stable suit before you go.
Neil looked down on himself. The only thing he was wearing was his pip buck and the light blue medical apron. So, where can I get a new one? The doctor made his way to the stable door before answering.
Just ask the nurse on your way out. Once you're done, I'll send word to Adam that you're feeling better and on your way to the living quarters.
Thanks. That means a lot, Neil said with the same small smile that May gave him earlier.
No problem, it's the least I could do.
The doctor said, returning to smile before leaving the room. Neil looked down at himself and removed the dull, itchy medical blankets from under him. He swung his legs over the edge of the medical bed so he could try to move normally again. Slowly and gently, each hoof touched the ground softly as he made his way out to the bed. Soon all 4 hoofs touched down on the ground neatly. This isn't so hard, he thought to himself as he moved one hoof slowly forward. It's just one hoof after the other. The new limb was totally a new experience. He couldn't feel the thing, but at the same time, he could feel the ground move under his hoof. It wasn't hard to get used to. Of course, he fell over a few times before reaching the door, and a few times turned into several trips, then a lot of trips into falls. After finally catching his balance, he made his way to the main office of the stable medical center. On a small desk was a cute red earth pony mare with a pink mane. She wore a medical cap with a red cross and 4 red hearts decorated on it. She looked up at the white stallion. I'm guessing you want your suit, correct? She said as plainly as she stared across from her desk. Neo nodded at her sleeplessly. Mm-hmm. She tucked under the desk and pulled out a neatly folded stable 142 suit. Here you go, she said, laying it gently down on the desk in front of him. Thanks, he said kindly to the nurse. She just shrugged and went back to looking at her terminal in front of her. Neo, on the other hand, started to change into a stable suit. He was glad he didn't have to change clothes often, because the hardest part about putting clothes on is getting the sleeve or go over your pip buck. Within a few moments of struggling and fighting, he managed to get through his sleeve to the bottom of the pip buck. It was the first time in 4 days Neo had been out of the medical office. Despite the small headache, he felt great. There was one thing he could count on, it was the medical staff. It felt like nothing had happened. Even with the accident with his foreleg at the pumps, didn't seem to have happened at all. But that was all in the past. He was looking towards the future. He was looking forward to seeing his little brother again. He wondered about what his mother was going to do when she found out. It's pretty positive she must have heard about the accident by now. After all, the alarms did go off. He tried down the bleak corridors like usual as he made his way to the resident level. He was in a rather good mood. He felt great. Adam and his mom were probably waiting for him back in their living quarters. He couldn't help it when a small smile found its way across his face. The rest of the district was quiet. It was dinner time at the mess hall, so everybody there was eating. That meant that most of the districts were probably the same way. Up ahead, Neo could see the large 67 at the end of the hallway. All he could think about was the warm look his mom and brother would give him when he got home. He went up to the large steel door and tapped his new metal hoof on the door. Ting, ting, ting! Don't come in! Al screamed from the other side of the door. Neo's warm smile died at the sound of his little brother's voice. Adam? Neo said from the other side. His voice was choked up like he was crying heavily. Brother? He whimpered from the other side. Yeah, Adam, it's me. What's the matter? Neo was worried. His thought of warm smiles as his family quickly faded away. The door slid open, exposing the miserable-looking pony. He had tears running down his eyes by the gallons, and his face was quivering with sadness. Neo stood there shocked. Adam, what happened? He asked in a worried tone. Adam lowered his head. She's gone, he whimpered as more tears fell from his face. What? Neo replied, taking a step forward. Adam moved to the side and rested his head to one of the chairs in the center of the room. Just listen. Neo cautiously moved into the room and made his way to one of the chairs. On it was a small holotape with the words, for Adam and Neo. Neo looked at it oddly. What is it? He asked as he looked at his younger brother. Just listen, he returned mournfully as he made his way to one of the other chairs in the room. Neo looked out at a small black square. Neo restrained himself as he nervously put his hoof to play the button on top of the device. It clicked and started to make a small noise like some audio had been recorded on it. Then it started to play. It was their mother. Hello, boys. I don't have a lot of time to say my goodbyes. She started to cry a bit. I just wanted you to know that I love you, and I'm leaving the stable. Can't tell you why, but I am. I just want you to know I didn't plan on leaving. There's some things I need to finish. Things I should have taken care of a long time ago. She paused for a moment. I wish you could understand why I had to leave. Just wish I could see you one more time. Small voice in the background could be faintly heard. We need to get going. Remember, don't come looking for me. Please, just don't. I want you two to live long, happy lives in the stable. Goodbye. The message ended. Neo was shaking. His legs felt weak as the whole message echoed in his mind. Questions came back. With that, he could no longer hold himself up. He fell down to the floor, still trembling. He was angry, but at the same time, sad and curious. Why would she leave? He whispered to himself as he looked blankly at the ground in shock. Adam looked his head out to look at his brother. I thought we were happy. I thought she cared about us. I thought she was happy. Mixed feelings in Neo started to twist and turn to a confident idea. He sucked it left him as he moved towards Adam with a tiny twinkle of hope in his eye. Adam! Adam was still wiping away the tears from his friend's face. What? He whimpered. Neo moved over to him and put his new hoof around his brother. I have an idea. It's a long stock, but it might just work. Adam continued to look down as his older brother continued. What if we leave the stable? Adam's face saw strange. He looked at his brother with worry. Leave the stable? He said as he tried to handle what his brother just proposed to him. He thought about it for a moment. But we don't know what's out there. I mean, there could be monsters or nothing, or... Neo interrupted him. We won't know for sure if we don't try. Neo said with a kind smile. He was trying to cheer his little brother up. He still looked unsure. I don't know. What about your job? What about your school? Neo shook his head at each one of the things he listed. I don't care anymore. Plus, look, who needs a boring job like mine? He chuckled a bit. Adam was slowly coming out of his depressed mood. Yeah, I'm way smarter than any of the kids in my class anyway. Yeah, with some smile. Just think about it. One day, we'll see Mom again, and we'll all come back home. Be like nothing ever happened. We'll be a family again. Adam got up from his chair and slowly. But how are we going to get out of the stable? Neo turned his gaze to the hall tape on the chair. There was somebody else in that room with her. Adam remembered the faint voice in the background. Wasn't that the other mayor? Neo's eyes perked up at the thought. Come to think of it, the mayor in the background did sound like the other mayor. I bet you she knows how to leave the stable. So she might also know where Mom went, Adam added. Neo ignored his brother's comment as he started to think. He thought about what would happen if they couldn't find their mom. How would Flipper react to leaving him all of a sudden? He started to rethink his plan. Adam, what if we don't find her? What if you get hurt or I lose something more than just my foreleg? Put down his metal hoof with a memory of his flesh and bone. Adam proudly strided over to his brother with a proud, goofy grin on his face. I can take care of myself. I'm 15 after all. Plus, you'll be there beside me the whole step of the way. Neil liked how his brother was encouraging him to go farther with his plan. But I just got out of the medical office. Do you think we really should go now? Adam nodded to him. Better now than ever. Neil thought about it for a moment. Then with his spirit restored, he returned to Adam with a solid nod. Plus, there isn't a lot more we could do other than go over to the Overmare. Then what are we waiting for? Adam shouted with excitement as he hopped to the door. Not so fast, Adam, Neil said, stopping him before he went through the now open door. Are you 100% sure about this? Adam nodded confidently to him. Then lead the way then, he said, moving up to him. Soon, the two made their way to the Overmare's office, find some answers, and to the millions of questions spinning around their heads. There was nothing different about the trip to the Overmare's office, but it was odd to think that she helped out with her mother's disappearance. Why would she do such a thing? Why was she acting the way she was a few days ago? Then it hit Neo. How come Adam didn't realize their mom was gone until just recently? He decided to ask about it. Adam? Yeah? How come you didn't know about Mom until earlier today? He looked slightly sad. Well, I was worried about you. I spent those 4 days cooped up in that office trying to build that. Come to think of it, I can't recall seeing Mom, even on the way to the medical office from the purifying chambers. Just down the hallway was the Overmare's office. Do you like it? Adam asked sheepishly. Neil looked down at his hoof before stomping at the door. Yeah, so far it seems to be working fine, but you can't beat a good old-fashioned right hoof. Adam looked down at his right hoof. Yeah, We were lucky when we found you when we did. Before Neo could answer, the Overmare's door slid open. The Overmare was standing in the doorway looking at the two brothers. She looked guilty, as if she knew what she had done. "Hello, boys," she said with a single tone. Neo stood there staring. "You know what happened, didn't you?" She nodded with the same sinful look on her face. "Come on in, and I'll explain," she said, stepping to the side for them to come in. Like before, she went to her round desk. She leaned forward at the desk with her host together. "Sit," she said with a soft same tone. The two brothers each took a seat in one of their two seats in the office. For a moment, she just looked down. The two brothers returned to glare as the three looked blankly at each other. It's like each one of them were waiting for someone to speak. "I subtly saw from the beginning, huh?" the Overmare said, turning her gaze to the two. They didn't answer. "Your mother, she was an interesting pony. I never really understood why she did some of the things she did. But I think you two should know that she loves you." She paused to return her gaze to the desk. "It's funny. I never really thought she would leave again." "Again?" Adam added. "That doesn't matter. At least it doesn't anymore. What does matter is that are you two going to follow her?" Both of them gave her a stern, confident nod. She sighed. "Boys, do you know what it's like out there?" "Do you?" Neo added, still retaining a straight look on his face. The Overmare looked puzzled as she stared at him in a serious fashion. "No." She waited for a moment before continuing. "I care about all my ponies in this stable, even the ones who don't obey the laws. I don't understand why some pony would leave." Neo spoke up before she continued. "She's our mom. In a way, she's all we have in the stable. Family is it. It's everything. I want you to understand that." The Overmare continued. She was never interrupted. "It's almost funny. She said that what she was doing would make us all happy, even the stable. I wonder what she meant. The thing she left just before you had your accident happen." A small smile lit down warmly. "I'll let you leave if you want," she said in an almost whispered manner. Her jaw hit the ground at her statement. "Really?" Adam said with a surprised look. She nodded gently to him. "I thought that you couldn't leave the stable," Neo replied. The other man leaned back in her chair with her host still together. "When I was a young filly, my grandmother made a law that stated any and all could leave the stable whenever he or she wanted to." Adam became interested. "What happened then?" "Those ponies didn't like this idea. In fact, many of them demanded it be removed immediately. She thought that one day somebody like yourselves would come along and want to leave. So she told everybody she got rid of the silly idea, but she kept it active secretly," she continued. Neil's confused. He'd always been told that leaving the stable was forbidden. "You're just gonna let us go? Just like that?" The other mare got up from her chair and moved closer to the door. "Get water, food, and whatever else you need. Once you're done, come back here," she said with a worried look on her face before opening the door to her office. Adam and Neo made their way to the office with confused looks on their faces. Before Neo left, he turned around to the other mare on the other side of the doorway. "Is that all?" "Yes, that's all," she whispered before closing the door to her office. She looked like she was about to cry. It was a whole mess of emotions. She was happy, sad, worried all at the same time. Neo didn't want to think about it anymore. All he cared about was getting all the items she had listened to them. Adam tried up to his big brother with dedication in his eyes. "Brother, we need to get going." Neo shook his head, trying to come back to reality. "Sorry, I was just thinking." Adam nodded to him. "I understand, but we need to get all that stuff." "I guess you're going to Mom's place, right?" Adam replied with a nod. "You're going to your place, right?" "Mm-hmm." Adam turned away from his brother for a second. "Once you got all your stuff, let's meet back here in 20 minutes. "Right." Neil says he watched his little brother gallop off into the gray hallway. Just like that, Adam dashed off to his home, and Neil dashed to his. They were fueled by the hope that one day they would see their brother again. This was their final moments in the stable. Because after today, they would probably never come back again. At each of their homes, they grabbed their saddlebags and the few items the Overmare listed. They packed food, 2 canteens of water each, as the personal items. It didn't take long for them to gather each of their stuff. It wasn't going to take them much longer to get back to her office. Neil was trying down the hallways to get back to the Overmare's office. It wasn't a great rush, so he decided to take it easy for the moment as he made his way there. Without thinking, he ran headfirst into the speeding pony. The 2 ponies lifted up in the air for a moment before falling face first on the hard ground. Neil picked himself up from the accident. His head hurt a bit from the collision with the other pony. As he rubbed his face from the soreness, he took a look back at the pony and smacked into it. It was Flipper. Flipper was just as dazed and sore as Neil was. He stumbled around like a drunk as he pulled himself together. He shook his head, trying to get rid of the aching soreness. His tone was angry and negative as he recovered.
Hey, let's wing it!
He stopped when he realized it was Neil he had hit.
Hello to you too, Flipper.
Neil said sarcastically as he continued to rub his head bare.
Oh, hi there, Neo. Didn't see you there.
Slightly embarrassed about what he did.
Yeah, I can tell, he said, rolling his eyes sarcastically. What were you in such a rush? Neo added.
Oh, well, you see, I was on my way to the stable pit when his eyes went wide as he looked at Neo's right forehoof. He got close to his right foreleg.
Whoa, so that's your new metal limb Adam named for you?
He said, getting more closer to Neo than he would like. Failed to notice the full saddlebags on his back. Neo backed a bit from the creepy point. Yeah, how did you know? He said nervously. Flipper picked his head back up.
Oh, the whole stable knows about that. I mean, really, Adam set up the stable alarm system.
Neo looked to himself for a second. Wow, didn't know the whole stable knew, he said a little slyly.
Yeah, I mean, you're the only one in the stable that has a limb like that,
he exclaimed with a big goofy smile. Though he enjoyed talking to Flipper, he had somewhere to be. Flipper, I'd love to see and chat, but there's someplace I really need to be. It just seemed that he too was wasting time just by talking when he had a place to be.
Shoot, me too. Hope you have a good day, and yeah, bye,
he said before giving him a quick grin and continuing his race towards the stable pit. Neil watched as he raced down the hallway before turning sharply to the corner. Bye, he said softly while raising his eyebrow. He was a little bit confused about his behavior, but he was on his own mission and needed to get back to his. Adam was waiting impatiently outside the other mayor's office. He was bouncing up and down in place as he anxiously waited for his brother. He had packed all that he deemed worthy of taking, preferably his favorite books on science and technology. He also found it to be useful if he packed a few extra parts for his brother's new foreleg, in case it needed repairs. Up the hallway, he could see Neo dashing down the hallway. His face turned sour at the sight of his tardy brother.
Took you long enough?
Neo stopped right in front of him, panting heavily. Sorry, I ran into Flipper on my way here, he said, huffing from exhaustion.
It took you an extra 10 minutes to talk to Flipper?
Neo caught his breath and continued. No, I had to finish finding all the stuff I needed. My living space isn't that big, or that full of anything useful for that matter, he said, giving his brother a slight chuckle. Adam liked it when his brother laughed, even when he was angry at him. It made him feel happy to be his brother.
Well, are you ready?
Adam returned to him with a smile. Neo nodded a confident response.
Okay, whenever you're ready,
he said, stepping aside for Neo to knock on the door to the Overmayor's office. Putting his hoof to the door, Neo started to knock. In seconds, the Overmayor opened the door for them. She had a terrible look on her face, like it was watching some pony die for the first time.
Come in. It's all ready for you.
We're really grateful for you doing this. We really are, Neo said, taking a step forward.
She put her hopes up to stop him. You still have a choice to go back. I'll stay.
Her eyes were becoming more tear-filled in a second.
Adam stepped up. We need to get our mom back, he said with confidence burning his eyes. She's all we have left, he continued. So what's the point of staying in a place where you're not happy?
The Overmayor looked down safely.
It's your choice, not mine.
She swayed to the side, allowing them to come into her office. Together, the three moved to their office. Her desk was lifted up by several large metal pistons, which exposed a small staircase leading down to the large metal door. Neo and Adam stood at the top of the stairway, looking down at the metal door at the bottom. The Overmayor stood at the right at the desk.
Just head down the stairs. Go through the door into the garden at the end of the hallway.
Her motion didn't change. Both brothers nodded sternly.
One last thing, she said before they started to descend. Just don't forget about me,
she said as she tried to muster a smile. I don't plan on it, Neo said with an earnest glare. Adam thought about it for a moment. Then he came to terms with himself that he was going to give her one last hug before he left. She was a little shocked by the gesture, but she was happy he cared enough to show how much he cared before they left. Hugging her tight, Adam whispered to her,
We won't forget you. I can't forget you. Just don't forget us, okay?
She wrapped her hoof around him gently.
I won't. I promise.
She whispered back in a kind, peaceful tone. Adam let go of her and went back to his brother. Then they both started to make their way down the steps to the metal door. Without even trying, the door hissed to expose the other side. On the other side of the door was a long metal corridor, with large bright white lights lining the ceiling. With a deep breath, the two started their march on their way down the large corridor. Each step was a blow to their morale as they tried on. The footsteps echoed faintly with every step, until finally they made it to the door at the end. The door at the end was much like the door before. It was a large and made finely crafted steel. Like the door before it hissed open, making ear-bleeding screeches as it opened. Both of them cringed to the sound of steel screeching as it hisses cried madly. On the other side of this door was a smaller room with a ramp going down to the large steel cog-shaped door. The room was empty, except for a large metal object that looked like a key hanging on the ceiling. Below was a guard standing at a control panel. It looked like a strong stallion with a security helmet, visor perched soundly on his head. "Are you the ones that this nobleman said was leaving?" he asked. "Yeah, that's us," Neil said as he started down the ramp. The guard nodded to him, starting to flip several switches on the control pad. Then Adam dashed to catch up, with his older brother at the bottom of the ramp. With a metal arm that descended from the ceiling. A loud alarm followed as it creaked its way to the cog-shaped door, like a key going to the lock. It plugged the front piece to a tiny hole in the front of the door. Another hiss, the door rolled open, opening the door followed by a violent shaking. It's apparent the door wasn't used to opening. So when the door finished, they realized the door might have caused the shaking. It might have been that their mother had caused Nia to fall over and lose his foreleg. Whether that was the case wasn't important. What was as important was finding their mother. "You sure you want to do this? Because when I close that door, that's it. I won't open it again." Neil looked up to the guard with a calm smile. "I understand that." "We have to do this." The guard shrugged. "Whatever you say." It was at that moment that both of them gulped, with their few steps into the empty dark cave that lay in front of them. As they slowly left the cog-shaped doorway, they were immediately greeted by burnt-charred skeletons. They littered the floor of the cave with tarred, burnt signs bearing rants and protests. Eyed the skeletons as they moved onward to the end of the cave. At the end was a boarded-up wooden door with tiny specks of light dotting it. Neil and Adam were almost at the door when a terrible shaking and hissing returned. They both turned to look back at their former home, and just like that, the large cog with number 142 shut clank. They were outside the stable for the first time. Neil looked down at his little brother. "You ready?" Adam gulped nervously. "Yep." With a deep breath and a lot of confidence, Neil pushed on the large door until it opened. They were taken by a wave of white light. Footnote: Level up. New perk: Iron Hoof. 5 points to unarmed damage. Would you like to level up, Adam? Yes? No. Footnote: Level up. New perk: Comprehension. +1 additional skill point whenever a skill book is read.